Sujata Sharma, the Joint Secretary for Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, during the inter-ministerial meeting today assured that the country has enough petrol and diesel. She also confirmed that supply of commercial LPG from March 12th was prioritized for the healthcare sector. She said that the government is consistently increasing the supply of commercial LPG, and from today, the sectors of pharma, food, ceramics will be provided up to 70% of its earlier LPG supply. She also added that the availability of 5 kg LPG cylinders for migrant workers was boosted, making them accessible without address proof. So, ma'am, like you were pointing out, for migrant workers, obviously a big boost, it's a shot in the arm for them. But we are also now, since the ceasefire is announced, the government is now stating that for the next few weeks, at least healthcare, pharma, food, ceramics will get their 70% or up to 70% of their earlier supplies. So, we might see some sort of relief on the ground. Do you believe so?
So I think if we look at this very objectively, and what the secretary has also assured is in terms of actual availability of physical fuels inside the country in our storage facilities. And this is very reassuring. And this is definitely true for the shorter term. However, what we are going to experience when we look at it, when we look at the situation the next, after the 2-week period, after this ceasefire is over, a lot depends on the level of the de-escalation and whether the peace talks that are initiated during this ceasefire period, how do they progress? Because very honestly, if the peace process and if the ceasefire agreements are long term and they stay, and that all sides initiate efforts towards peace, then of course this is very good for our long term supply. But it will still take some time for a lot of these countries that were our traditional suppliers to actually come back on the table and offer us the same prices. Because you see, the biggest problem isn't just the physical availability of fuel and diesel, petrol, but also of other commodities like fertilizers, sulfur, helium, which power up a lot of our industries. And second, the price at which they are available, because the price has actually increased from $75 a barrel before the war to close to $120 a barrel currently. And even the Russian oil that we were getting at cheaper prices has now increased and is being pegged to the global Brent crude price. So that actually, for India as a country and for the exchequer, that is a huge bill that we have to pay. And this again is the same situation which all of the emerging economies, South Asian economies and East Asian economies are currently facing.